Hello, I'm Lara Kulchasan and this is Newsfeed, your dose of what people are talking about online. Once recognized as one of the most powerful figures in entertainment, he now faces some of the most serious allegations in the industry's history. Sean Diddy Combs is on trial in New York, accused of decades-long sexual abuse, trafficking, coercion, and racketeering. The case has gripped the public with high-profile testimonies and the involvement of federal agents.
The legal firestorm began in November 2023, when singer and former girlfriend Cassie Ventura filed a civil lawsuit accusing Combs of years of rape and abuse. Though the suit was settled in less than 24 hours, it sparked a broader federal investigation. Attorney Tony Busby, who represents several alleged victims, says the number of civil claims could reach 300. With more than 100 expected to be actually filed. The accusations stretch back decades, from the 1990s to the early 2020s. In March 2024, federal agents raided Combs' homes in Los Angeles and Miami. They confiscated electronic devices, cash, and other items reportedly linked to the ongoing investigation. By September, Combs was formally indicted. Prosecutors allege that for over 20 years he used his influence in the entertainment world to manipulate and control women, often involving substances and intimidation. The trial kicked off on May the 5th, 2025, with opening statements starting on May the 12th. Since then, major witnesses have taken the stand. Ex-girlfriend Cassie testified over 4 days, detailing a decade of alleged physical and psychological abuse and being pushed into explicit parties which Combs called freak-offs. Dawn Richard recounted witnessing Combs' abusive behavior, including a 2009 incident where he allegedly tried to hit Ventura with a skillet. Kerry Morgan, Ventura's former best friend, shared her own experience of being physically assaulted by Combs, claiming he once struck her with a wooden hanger, resulting in concussion. Combs has pleaded not guilty. His legal team maintains that all relationships were voluntary and consensual. They've challenged the reliability of witness accounts and raised concerns about potential financial motives tied to civil lawsuits. P. Diddy remains in custody at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center after multiple bail requests have been denied. If found guilty, he could face life in prison. The trial is expected to continue for several more weeks.
As the trial unfolds, the public is being flooded with wall-to-wall coverage, from headlines to TikToks, comment threads to podcasts. The sheer volume of information has made it nearly impossible to ignore. For many, staying informed feels necessary. It is a way to process, understand, and regain some sense of control. But there's a line which, if crossed, information can turn into overload.
Mental health experts warn that constant exposure to traumatic content, even secondhand, can trigger emotional and physical distress, especially for those with a personal history of trauma. Without realizing it, people can slip into a state of nervous dysregulation. That could look like hyperarousal, such as feeling anxious, agitated, panicked, or stuck in endless scrolling. Or, at the other extreme, dysregulation could present symptoms such as feeling numb, being zoned out, or disconnected from emotions and the surrounding environment. So you could be experiencing dysregulation whilst following the trial. If you are losing track of time while reading about it, feeling emotionally drained or detached, having trouble sleeping or focusing, experiencing flashbacks or reminders of past trauma, feeling overwhelmed, hopeless or angry. These states are natural responses to stress and not signs of weakness. But the key is recognizing these reactions and responding with care.
To another high-profile case that's now captivating the online space. Once painted as monsters, the Menendez Brothers are now being re-examined by online culture. Eric and Lyle Menendez were re-sentenced to 50 years to life in prison, making them eligible for parole after serving 35 years behind bars. The brothers were convicted in 1996 for the brutal killing of their parents, following a long reality TV-style trial that captivated the public and made tabloid headlines. They claimed years of abuse led them to commit the murders, but the jury rejected their defense. Recently, their story has been reframed through documentaries, TikTok videos, and online campaigns that depict them as victims of their own circumstances. The resentencing reflects a major shift in how their case is viewed, not just in the courtroom, but across a changing cultural landscape.
Their original sentence was life in prison without parole, and their new sentence is 50 years to life, which automatically makes them eligible for parole under California's youthful offender law because they were under the age of 26 during the 1989. Of course, they still have to have their parole hearing, which a date is already set for in June, and they'll have their parole hearing separately, which I guess means it's possible that one could get parole and the other one couldn't.
The decision is up to the parole board, and the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, have been reviewing the case and also conducting psychological evaluations. And the judge who did grant them a resentencing said that he was very impressed by the amount of prison workers and people inside the system who had nothing but amazing things to say about the brothers. I mean, they have gotten an education, they've done so much work inside the prisons, and should the board count that work towards the ordinary parole assessment, the brothers could qualify and walk free.
Let's say they're granted parole. There's another step where the governor could actually override it and say, no, you have to stay in prison. But let's say they don't get parole. The governor could also override it and say, we're going to let you out anyway. Everybody says you can't get out of jail, then they're going to have to wait 3 to 15 more years for a second chance at parole.
As the opening song goes, can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? Well, I can, because the characters on the classic children's program have moved home. Sesame Street will now be streamed on Netflix. The most watched children's program in history, featuring Oscar the Grouch, Cookie Monster, and Elmo, has announced that its 56th season will be moving online. Netflix also gains access to 90 hours of past episodes. Sesame Street was facing an uncertain future after Warner Brothers Discovery, which owns the HBO platform, did not renew its deal with the half-century-old program. For avid viewers without access to Netflix, new episodes will also be screened on America's public broadcasting service, PBS.
One of the big changes that I'm sure that families are going to be happy about is that when the show airs on Netflix on the same date and day, they're going to be able to air that episode on PBS. So if you can't get Netflix or you can't afford Netflix, you can get it for free still on PBS. HBO kind of had a little different. There would be a couple months of a wait before you can actually see those episodes. In a statement, the CEO of PBS said, "I strongly believe that our educational programming for children is one of the most important aspects of our service to the American people, and Sesame Street has been a big part of that critical work for more than half a century." So how is this going to air? Well, season 56 probably won't air until later on in the year. According to Netflix, it's going to be released in 3 different batches, sort of like how they release their shows. One other change is that they're going to be changing the format, so dropping the magazine-style format in favor of a longer segment format.
In South Africa, crime is a huge problem. The country grapples with some of the highest levels of rape, burglaries, car thefts, and murders in the world. The problem is so widespread that the government does not have sufficient resources or manpower to keep citizens safe. Often, citizens have to fight criminals on their own, and it does not always end well. But the next video is of how a band of off-duty soldiers nabbed car thieves in the capital, Pretoria. As you will see, not all superheroes wear capes. Some wear PJs.
South African soldier chased down and caught a group of criminals while in his pajamas. Guys, this story is just iconic and absolutely brilliant. You have to listen to this. Last week Sunday, Senior Chief Warrant Officer Mokete Petrus Tiladi was just chilling at home in his pajamas while working on a presentation for work. Then suddenly he was alerted that 5 men nearby had just stolen a civilian's car. Bro got up, put on his slippers, and along with some other soldiers and policemen managed to track the guys down and arrested them. They then made the criminals take off their clothes because apparently if they got away they would stand out more to civilians and make them more identifiable. But the best part of this whole video is how the same officer, still dressed in his pajamas, scours out the criminals. Listen to this.
Why did you steal a car? There's no need to steal a car, my brother. And you are working. You are not working.
No DNA, just RSA.
As the Northern Hemisphere enters summer, many people start feeling better simply because of the sunlight. The warmth on your face, lazy evenings by the beach, and a glass of ice-cold tea. Just thinking about it is enough to lift your mood. But it's not just in our heads, there's real science behind it. Here's how summer actually boosts your mental health.
Sunlight boosts vitamin D, which helps our bodies function properly, from muscles to our brains to the immune system. Exposure to sunlight also raises serotonin levels, a key mood regulator. So, a healthy body really supports a healthy mind. Spending time outdoors helps our bodies produce more melatonin, the hormone that controls sleep, so we sleep better and, as a result, feel better overall. Warmer weather and longer days encourage us to get outside for activities like walking, swimming, and cycling. Physical exercise releases endorphins, natural chemicals that lift our mood. So, whether it's sunbathing, snoozing, or swimming, summer might just be the mental reset you need.
While summer can boost many people's mental health, it's not the same for everyone. It may be hard to believe, but for some, summer can trigger seasonal depression, a condition that affects mood and well-being differently.
Summertime sadness is a real mental health diagnosis. You may have heard of seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. Summertime SAD is a form of SAD that occurs or is triggered by the warmer months of the year. It can occur for a few reasons, including feeling drained by the heat, feeling overwhelmed by disruptions to your routine, or simply from feeling the pressure to have fun or socialize all the time during the warmer months.
Extra anxiety we get around the summer, and the overwhelm and pressure we get to go out, have fun, and feel great all the time. So I have a theory why we are like this. Remember when we were kids and summer was associated with us as this fun, school-free, homework-free, chilling, relaxing time of the year where we could just play with our friends, play games, and have fun? As we grew older, we took these expectations of summer and these associations with it and applied it to our present life. But the only difference is now, as adults, we have so much more responsibility.
Does anyone else get severely depressed when it's summertime? Like, I'm constantly comparing myself to like everybody on the internet that's in Europe, at the beach, tan, not working. Like, I like spring and fall when nobody's doing anything, but you can also live a beautiful life. I just don't like summer. And everyone always is like, oh, it's the best season, I can't wait for summer. July and August are the worst months of the year. But nobody's gonna agree with me.
Turkey's first musical road is literally hitting all the right notes. Drivers cruising through Ankara can now play Mozart's Turkish march, Ronda alla Turca, just by maintaining the right speed. Grooves carved into the asphalt are turned into specific frequencies, turning cars into moving instruments. It's not just for fun, the road is designed to encourage safety. And we end our show on that musical note. Find our latest stuff on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.